I wanted to interview Andreas since I started at MTD, so this is a great day for me. I'm here on the HAIMER stand at EMO 2023, and it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Andreas HAIMER. Now, I wanted to interview Andreas since I started at MTD, so this is a great day for me. So, Andreas, thank you for welcoming us
Such a pleasure.
to your booth. And we're going to start off with a bit of a tour to see what's on show. So, the Cool Flash, what can you tell me about it?
Oh yeah, Cool Flash is one of our great innovations, growing crazy. We see the Cool Flash is really a problem solver for all high-speed machining where you have problems actually not achieving the right coolant getting on the tip of the cutting tool. And the Cool Flash, it's like a little bit the garden horse effect here, like you see here it's the original machine tool spindle here in this display. It goes up to 18,000 RPM, and it shows that even if you're 20,000 RPM, you're getting the coolant right in the flutes of the cutting tool. So it pushes out the chips, you don't cut the chip twice, and whenever at high-speed milling, people have problems with coolant and chip evacuation, this is the problem solver, and it's upgradable to all of our shrink fit lines. So
that was so much information so quickly, it was great. And I love how the easiest way to understand this is the garden hose effect.
yes.
And this can be retrofitted to your other machines, your other shrink fit holders as well?
Absolutely. So whatever diameter the customer is using, you can upgrade the holder and not retrofit, but buy an upgraded holder and make the Cool Flash as an add-on to any kind of shrink fit holder. You can combine it with safe lock, you can have it without safe lock, you can have it in small diameter, large diameter, and it always has a great, brilliant effect in order to double your tool life because you just get the chip evacuation right.
And it's great because isn't that the biggest problem in machining, is the chip evacuation?
Absolutely, especially when it comes to demanding milling applications. People are moving up in speeds and feeds, and then sometimes the coolant is just not there, and with Cool Flash you solve the problem.
Now, this is just the start of our tour, and the Cool Flash is such a great innovation. So as we move around your booth, we have something I am quite familiar with, the 3D tester probe. Now, I used these for 10 years.
Thank you, Tom. And the point is, the 3D tester, that was the first product, from HAIMER, is the 3D sensor and 3D tester. We have them in all different, there's the one and only original 3D sensor, and they're so good for any kind of machine tool. Whatever the customer is using, even manual machine tool, fully automatic, 5-axis machine tool, the 3D sensor is actually a great tool to have, should be on every machine tool, and it's not even worth it to just buy one for your whole shop. No, you should have one for every machine tool in your company, because otherwise people are searching for it and getting it back and forth,
Now, I feel quite lucky because we had these and we had one on every machine, but we'll not talk about how many tips I broke over the years. So.
But the good thing is, that's a replaceable part, and that will save actually the measuring gauge and everything, so the tip is breakable. And
it is, and it's actually quite easy as well to re-clock in. It's a great feature. Now, the automation cube. I don't know much about this because I've never seen it. So, what can you tell me about it? Because I want to be a professional on this when we leave.
Oh, yeah, sure, and we are so excited. So, we really move into specialty machine tool building, and this is, this baby wasn't there 4 months ago. I mean, really, in 4 months, we have created a specialty machine tool with up to 11 axes interpolating, simultaneously working with a new numeric Siemens control. We have partnered up with Siemens, with the best partners here. We have a Fano Cobot, Heidenhain glass scale, Siemens control, and this is the automation of the tool room. That means in 1 minute you can shrink out the tool, put in the new tool, fully automatic, lights out machining for the tool room.
So that means you can keep your shop running even when there's no one around, because we all know there's the skill gap and the labor shortage. So why not just have one of these and you don't need many people anyway.
Absolutely, and that's the point. Even if a lot of shops are running that maybe I have one shift, I have still the people, and the second and third shift goes fully automatic. So here you see this loading and how the cobot is working. So if we move here if we move a little bit closer here, the Z-axis is the heart of it. So while other people, and we tried it before, with a cobot, putting it in and out, in the long run, you need actually a very stable Z-axis, and you need scales in order to make sure that this press fitting, the actual fitting of the shrinking holder and the cutting tool is done precisely thousands of times. So, and this is really, like you said, you can run lights out. We have this as a heart of the tool room in the future, and then the customer can integrate it with AGVs or with pallet handling and prepare the jobs for the Automation Cube 1 to be done overnight or 24/7. So this is a huge advantage.
And I like what you said there, where you've tried the robot and it just wasn't good enough for HAIMER. So you built a specific machine just to do it.
Absolutely.
And it can just run lights out, day and night, it never stops.
Absolutely,
So, as we move on.
Yes, and here we show our concept. Now, here you see an AGV. In the future, we will run with those AGVs in our shop in order to make sure we have a fully autonomous production and running and even changing from the tool room or connecting it to our Automation Cube 1. So you get the concept of the future of a fully automated tool room with automatic transfer to the machine tool. So here it's a DMG Mori AGV that we are showing here, but basically we will simulating the transportation into the machine tool magazine, and then we do the data transfer, including an actually collision control. Like you have seen here before, the AGV has just put in a new tool holder into the presetter, and also the presetter is running autonomously. So he will start measuring, as you see the presetter, there's no guy there. He will start measuring. The AGV then took the finished measured part into the machine tool magazine, basically simulating the data. And this is the concept that we say HAIMER is not only automation ready, no, we are doing automation and we are living it.
And you're also future-proofing as well, because you've got the Automation Cube now, but it's not finished yet, because this system will be with the Automation Cube, and like you were saying, you can have a fully automated shop, not just parts of your shop automated, you can do the whole thing.
You can do the whole thing, and the point is, you say it's fantastic, you're future-proof. That's what we want to show to our customers is whenever you invest in HAIMER and in shrink fit, even if you start small and your shop is not quite ready or doesn't have the budget yet, but maybe in 10 years it has the budget and is ready. So when you invest in HAIMER, it's a long-term decision for the right clamping system, and the shrinking is actually the only system that you can automate 24/7. And that's what we show. So even if I have a small customer with only one machine, why should he choose for shrink fit? Because in the future, and why should he choose for HAIMER? Because in the future, you can automate it. You can start small and be big like an Automation Cube. So
with HAIMER then, you're not thinking of buying for now, you're thinking of buying for the future, because that product will be there with you. It's not a product you're going to buy and think in 1 year's time, 2 years' time, well, I'm going to have to get rid of that one and buy a new one. HAIMER is with you as long as you need it.
Absolutely, and our shrink holders last as long as the spindle of the machine tool, they're just unlimited life. If you buy our ecosystem, means shrinking, presetting, balancing, you can automate it in the future. It's a long-term decision, but you can start small or invest in big times. And here, now we are seeing, of course, this could run 24/7, but we're also seeing the data transfer, that in the data transfer, we are also doing a full collision analysis. So the RFID is loaded in our RFID identifier. We have all the tool data here, basically, starting with the cut, the no-cut section. We show it here on a new hide-in-hand control where we do the actual collision analysis every time we are, as a default product on our presetter, we have an H3D scan product. That means we can import all the collision data. So we're not only presetting on our presetting machines, but what we show is a real digital twin on the presetters and making that collision avoidance possible every single time you're actually measuring it. You have a default button that is just starting now to make a full measurement of the 3D collision data.
So then it's not just about measuring the tool to make sure it's right in the machine, it's measuring the tool to make sure your tool paths are going to run right. Your machine's not going to, there's going to be no crashes because you've measured absolutely everything to make sure it's perfect.
Absolutely.
And just as we're walking his way down, you said something a minute ago, which I read and I wanted to ask you about, where you've said if you use a HAIMER balancing machine, a HAIMER presetter, shrink fit and holders, that holder will last a lifetime.
Absolutely. You know, because the point is with the shrinking holders, and many people have a wrong conception about that, if you have a HAIMER shrinking machine and a shrinking holder, it's so easy to use, so easy to operate. If you handle it right, it will last a lifetime. There's no cycle on it, 1,000 times, 5,000 times, you know. And the beauty is that in the future, with all our new connectivity solutions, which we will come back later on, maybe Tony and Brent will touch on something, you know, also a highlight. We're not showing only Industry 4.0. Everybody talks about Industry 4.0, but we are actually doing it here. So you will get excited about that.
Honestly, I don't think I could be any more excited just about your booth and what we've learned, because every single thing I see is amazing. Now, I did a video in Poland with one of your staff members on the balancing machine.
Marcin, right?
And he was great. He didn't know we were coming. We rolled up and he was just brilliant. Now, obviously, as we work our way down, you actually have something brand new to EMO, some new tool holders.
Absolutely. I mean, we have here, we see our Safe Lock, our patented solution, where 10 years ago, 15 years, it was a real revolution. So this is really unique that a company like HAIMER, family company, 850 people, you know, we license this out to the global cutting tool companies, the Kenner Metals of the world, you know, and basically that was a big thing 10, 15 years ago, and people start to adopt it, but I want to show you a real revolution in tool holding, which will be the next big thing for the next 20 years, because it's so impressive what we are actually doing. Basically, that's what I said, the collision control. So as we walk over, we show so many new products and so many new stuff that I'm so excited. I want to start to talk about the tool holder revolution that we are introducing live on EMO Show for the first time, which is our new hybrid chuck. And the hybrid chuck is really unique. I mean, we have worked on it for 5 years in our labs, in our application center. You know, we have 4 machines, milling, turning machines in our application center, and we have tested every single combination. And it's a patented solution. For the first time, we show that here live on EMO. It's the best of both worlds, as I call it. So it's transferring the vibration dampening features of an hydraulic chuck on a shrink fit holder.
So you get the clamping force, the torque and the power of a shrink fit, and then you get the benefits of the tool dampening, so you get no vibration, no chatter, your surface finish is going to be better. All in one holder.
Absolutely.
So how have you created such a holder which is, and I think this is the right word here, revolutionizing tool holders, because nobody else is doing this. You are the first people to do this.
Absolutely, and this is really a true revolution in the actual tool holding world, because it's here a preloaded, call it pressed, laser welded on a shrinking holder. So basically, you have the best of both worlds, and really that was 5 years of experimentation, different setups, different technology. It's a very unique and very innovative way of putting it. And the beauty is that with this holder, you can use push button systems like shrinking. You don't have any hydraulic chambers which could leak, you know. You don't have any proprietary system. It's a shrink fit holder with this vibration dampening, and you can start small again. And this is for the last maybe 10% of the applications where sometimes our customers saying, yeah, maybe for this one, I can use an hydraulic chuck. But now you can do it all with shrink fit.
And I think what's great is you mentioned the problems you can have with with hydraulic holders. And one main problem I always had was the screw you tighten it up with. They strip and then you can't get them undone. So being able to have the benefits of that holder, but in a shrink fit where, like we said before, if you use the right shrink fit machine, the right balancing machine, will last you a lifetime. So why not buy the best to start off with?
Absolutely, and you made a good point. And you know, we have hydraulic chucks in our assortment if customers still want to have a hydraulic chuck. And we have great collet systems here on display, but I really want, in our short time that we have filming live on EMO, is really highlight what is the best of both worlds of traditional technology and new technology, and this will be the hybrid chuck, so there will be a real revolution in the tool holding world.
And it's great just to see it working together. Now, Andreas, I would like to say a huge thank you to you for your time and for your tour. But I think I actually see another gentleman in an MTD t-shirt who is looking almost as excited as I am about this.
Oh, it's great to see Tony here. You know, Tony is always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure, my friend. What a great tour. I was actually behind the camera watching these guys. Really fascinating hearing Andy talk the entire time about the technology that he's so inspired to continually create and really just exemplifies the quality. As it says everywhere, quality wins, and this man means it when we talk about this technology. Andy, continue to impress me all the time. Thank you so much,
Tony,
for that.
it is such a big pleasure, and Tom, it was so nice to have the tour with you and first time meet you live.
I know, it's great.
Great.
So we will leave it up to these two guys now who are going to show you the rest of the booth.
Perfect. And Brent here, from our president from North America, good friend of Tony, I will hand over. Thank you, Brent, and let's rock and roll.
All right, thank you, Andreas. I appreciate it. Tony, great to see you again.
Always a pleasure,
Always
my friend.
fun,
Well, the
yes.
first thing we have to do is rub the Panther for a little bit of good luck on this booth tour, and give a little shout out to HAIMER as well, because this was about 6 months, I believe, of dedication and programming and making sure that it turned out correctly, because quality wins, right?
That's right. It was a huge project. We were supported fully by HAIMER. We really appreciate what they did to help us put this together. And it's a cool story, too, because we sponsored the Augsburg Panther Hockey Club down in Augsburg, and I'm a hockey junkie, so for me it's really cool to see that we're connecting the dots here between manufacturing and hockey.
I like that as well. Should we connect some more dots and swing on
Absolutely.
over here?
Let's go
All right,
for it.
let's invite the camera crew. We're talking here mini shrink, the evolution of shrinking, shrink fit extension. First thing I want to talk about when it comes to shrink fit as a whole, Brent, is the very first time you and I hopped on camera, you had this wheel, and we spun the wheel and showed what it felt like with the vibration when spindle was out of balance. We started talking about what it does to the machine, what it does to the cutting tools. So let's talk about shrink fit, your technology of shrink fit, and a little bit about that story as well.
Oh, for sure, Tony, because balance is extremely important, and we'll get to some things on the balancing machine itself, but you're exactly right. Shrink fit has the best balance repeatability of any system of clamping a round shank tool in the world. So yes, it will help dampen vibration. It'll help make sure that there is no unbalance, and that's going to give you better tool life, better spindle life. It will give you the opportunity to machine your parts faster, and that's the number one thing. If you can machine your parts faster, you get things done quicker, and with shrink fit, it's consistent. Everyone in the shop, whether they've been there for 2 days or 20 years, they're putting that tool in and out the same way. Plus, and you'll see this, or you've already seen this with Andreas, is that it's something that can be automated, and that's beautiful. There's no other really tool clamping system that's so easy to automate as compared to shrink fit. And HAIMER's really dedicated itself to evolving shrink fit. So from the mini shrink series for die mold or 5-axis work, to the evolution of shrinking where we have standard shrinking for drilling, reaming, high-speed machining, to power shrink for heavier roughing, and heavy-duty shrink for very heavy roughing. And then also, of course, the shrink extensions, another huge benefit that you'll get when you use the shrink fit technology.
I like that you brought up the ease of automation as well, Brent, because we're here right now, as everyone can see. The booth is, we have to move people out of the way to even talk technology, but you mentioned the automation, and DMG Mori and HAIMER have a great relationship. In fact, they've even highlighted you in DMG Mori City, this beautiful setup of automation, which I got to see firsthand at Gym Top as well.
Yep.
And it's really the entire cell of tools moving, balancing, making sure it's running, the parts get cut, the parts get removed. I didn't see a human around, but I saw a completed cell of raw part and tools to finish at the end. But let's keep walking as we discuss this, because
Perfect.
shrink fit, you and I admire a lot. And
Yes.
I now have these conversations with people regularly where we go, why would you invest so much money in a machine to rip it apart by not having the balance? Why would you invest in the tools that are so nice that you're going to rip apart with not having balance? What about your finish? What about your secondary operations? You can recover all this with great technology like HAIMER.
Oh, for sure, Tony, you got it right. So shrink fit allows you to again, get all those benefits you discussed, the run out accuracy, the balance repeatability, the gripping torque, the consistency, again, back to that word, but I can't overstress, that is the key.
We should repeat it several times.
Exactly, because you're going to end up with a better tool life, better service finish, and more importantly, you'll be able to machine your parts faster, which we always come back to, and machine it the same way every time. That's what is so important, so you have a reliable process. And at HAIMER, it's great because we make 4,000 tool holders a day, so we're a real production facility. So all of the equipment we make, from the shrinking machine to the presetter to the balancing machine, is all used in-house. And we make it so that we know how to use it. And we want it to be accurate, otherwise the whole process is a waste of time, and we want it to be easy to use, otherwise people won't use it. So that's always behind the scenes with any technology we develop when it comes to the machines that we offer. So what we're showing here, Tony, is kind of a little setup cell from the shrink fit machine here that has the i4.0 capability. What that means is you can set your length. Automatically it knows a unique identifier on the tool holder, so it'll tell you exactly what the stick out length should be. We also, and that's new here at EMO. We also have the ability to keep track of how many times have we shrunk the tool, etc. Things like that really make it i4.0. And then we can tie it all together onto the next stage. We have this is the tool shrink, and this has been fun here at the show. So what we're doing is called the Tool Shrink Challenge, and we're having people come up, and if they can set the length of the tool, and they don't even need to know how to use this thing ever, within 10 microns, then they get entered into a drawing every day to give away an iPad, and people are loving it. We have people lined up here all day long trying to do the Tool Shrink Challenge, and I'm happy to say everyone has succeeded who's tried, and that just shows you how easy it is to do. And these are tools that aren't even set up, so it's just you walk up, you set it up as the person, the visitor to the booth, and they do the entire process within a couple minutes, and they're able to hold it within plus or minus 10 microns. So
you're kind of saying it's user-friendly? Is that what we're leaning toward
I guess
here?
that long story short, it's user-friendly.
I like that very much. I think it's brilliant for you guys to be able to do that. As we continue to walk and talk about technology, do you know how I used to touch off my tools?
How?
Piece of paper.
Yeah.
Jog the thing down.
Or a feeler gauge, yeah, same
feeler
thing.
Gauge,
same
exactly right. What are we moving into here, Brent?
Oh, this is really cool. So this is our balancing machine that we've done a couple different things on. So when we balance a tool, halfway through the reading, we index the tool 180 degrees. But this is a new thing, a new innovation from HAIMER. We actually have the index process mounted on the machine. So you don't have to actually physically pick up the tool to index it. So that's really a nice new feature. It just makes it easier. You could put the tool holder there, scan it, start the process, walk away and start shrinking a tool at another machine, and meanwhile you come back and the tool's been measured for the balance. We also integrated our new Tool Room Manager software that is actually tied to all the machines you see here at the front of this booth. So this is keeping track of the entire process. This is a software that HAIMER developed themselves for our own production. And we wanted to track, where is the tool in the process, who shrunk the tool, who balanced it, make sure it was done, who preset the tool, And then how many times has it been done? There's lots of data that we can keep track of here in the tool room manager software. So
you guys never fail to continue innovating. It's so impressive. And as we walk over to the next technology, a quick story is that I have been to your facility. Of course you have. I mean, you've been forever with HAIMER, right? But I had the great honor and privilege to go there, and everything Brent is saying, my friends, 100% true. Everything in HAIMER is being tested by HAIMER, is being balanced by, it's all HAIMER all the time in that place. It's really, really cool. And the amount of tool holders you make, I also enjoy that. So let's talk about the technology we're standing in front of now.
So this is what we call the Sprint machine. So this is an i4.0 machine, and we've kind of done it for our shrink fit collets is a big reason we've got this. So we have a shrink fit collet where you can put this into a live tool or a driven tool, or you can put it into a Swiss turn type machine, so more for the turning market. And we have a very clever method of cooling. We have a cyclone cooling here. So if it's something where we can't use our standard cooling bodies, we use this thing here. Yes, exactly. There it's kind of showing the effect. Might be hard to see on camera, but that is really a quick, easy way to cool odd-shaped tools, and it's very dry when it's done. So when I say odd-shaped tools, you couldn't use our standard system here to put the cooling bodies on it, so Mr. HAIMER developed this cyclone system, which is really cool.
Of course he did. Of course you guys did. There's always a solution when quality wins. You were just talking about, and off camera I was kind of nodding my head, right? Because we're getting ready to step right into this. Another piece of technology that when I walked into your facility, didn't realize 2.5 years ago that was a thing. I go, oh my gosh, you guys do this too? I mean, I knew everyone knows you for the shrink fit and the balancing and this technology, but then we got into the cutting tool side of things. And we're gonna get into these stories as well, but we visited customers recently that have talked about improvement of 40, 60%, tripling, quadrupling their production, the ability to machine what only could be ground previously. And we'll get into those stories a little bit, but let's slide around, talk about this technology a little bit as well.
Well, again, you know, we have a lot of turning machines in our production. So we had the typical problems where you have a spring ER collet, typically in a driven tool, and it's hard to set the length. It takes time. You're wasting machine time because you've got the door open while you're putting the new tool in. So we came up with the shrink fit collets and the dual lock collets. So what this display is showing is all of our turning solutions in one turret here that shows what's possible. And believe me, it made a huge difference in our production as far as the setup time has been reduced tremendously. So that keeps the machines running, keeps us cutting parts. So we, again, developed this for ourselves. Now we're sharing it with the market, and it's really been successful, and it's really helped out a lot of customers in order to be more productive.
I think there's a pretty famous statement that says, if you're not making chips, you're not making money, right?
That's right. You got that right, Tony.
So we continue to slide over. As we do, I would love to bring up one of our friends at Hard Milling Solutions. That's the one I was leading to just a minute ago, that he was really the first one to bring hard milling into the machining world 20 or 30 years ago. He's the leader in this type of innovation. He's been recorded in magazines and videos. I was so honored and impressed to speak with him, but he says he's been working with HAIMER for over 20 years now, and those same tool holders he was using back then are still working today, and that's how he got into the hard milling world.
That's right, and that's what we say. They should last the life of the machine tool. And that is a good combination of a good shrink fit holder from HAIMER and a good machine that he uses, a good shrink machine, so it doesn't overheat the tools. And Corey is a good friend, and he's been so successful. I'm very proud of what he's built up there. It's remarkable. He really is like the master of hard milling. So cool, yeah, this here is also kind of combining what we showed here with the turning. It's just a way we're showing here at this show, one of our presetters here, the autofocus, how to preset the shrink fit collets or driven tools here. So it's basically another extension. I know we've talked a little bit about the presetters already, but another extension of what's possible with the presetters here at HAIMER.
I like that we've summarized. We're going to keep going a little bit. We have so much technology to talk about. You and I, we can talk forever, right? we would literally have our camera crew running around for 2 hours on just these products on your booth. All right, we have a whole bunch of shrink fit collets here. We have another system, I imagine, again, just to continually improve, right?
Absolutely. This is back to how do you shrink these collets and how do you cool them? And so HAIMER developed the Air i4.0 machine, and it's been a great machine for addressing how to do the shrinking process with collets for the turning market.
Perfect. All right, we got a little bit of a walk ahead of us here, and your booth is so busy. We're actually shuttling people out of the way. We'll let
I hate
them
to do that, but
we don't want to do. So let's move quickly so they can get right back to looking at it, right?
Absolutely. So yeah, this is kind of neat too. This is new. This is some of our balancing wheel, grinding wheel arbors. So it's a really nice system for balancing. A lot of people now are for holding grinding wheels, because a lot of people now are actually grinding on machining centers, and that's what we're showing here.
Well, just real quick before we move on, balancing probably kind of important when it comes to a tool this size.
Oh, for
I've
sure.
worked in the micro machining world, will continue to walk, and when something of mine wasn't balanced, I just broke a tool, and I could barely hear it because it was 5 thou, 10 thou, 20 thou, right?
Yep.
You get into something like that, you might destroy an entire machine. I can only imagine. All right, now we're into the geometries, we're into more cutting tools, more shrink fit.
Yep.
I could read each one of these and pretend like I know what I'm talking about, but you're the expert, so I'll let you do a quick
Well, this
overview.
is showing, some of our cutting tool highlights. Basically, we're known now for the HAIMER mill. I know, Tony, you recently did a video with one of our customers who's really seen great increases in their productivity by using the HAIMER mill end mill. It's a solid carbide end mill. But really what got us making end mills, because a lot of people say, why in the world did you guys get making end mills? There's so many people doing it. We wanted to do a modular system because we saw more and more people moving to a modular system. So we created the dual lock. And the dual lock's extremely rigid. And the reason it's unique is that we're interface people. We're all about the tool holder going into the spindle correctly each and every time. So we did about 5 years of R&D to really make the most rigid connection we can come up with through the design. And then with that, we offer a full line of different cutting tools that can go in modules. We sell blanks. We've got partners who also can provide cutting tools that go into the dual lock system. So it's been a nice addition to the products HAIMER already had.
As we slide over to the next set of products as well, I did like to say, when you mentioned partners, you guys have really wonderful relationships with so many people throughout the industry.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to many aspects, but of course quality matters when you're partnering with someone, but you guys are also really good human beings with wonderful service, and that to me is how you connect with so many people. I've seen it firsthand all over the world, so thank you for being that type of partner for so many people.
Well, thank you, Tony, and that's one of our missions. You know, we've got a couple values that we say throughout the whole HAIMER organization, and part of that is to help the customer, because the customers are what make us what we are. We really owe our business to what our customers can give us, and we appreciate that.
So now that we pulled on everyone's heartstrings, let's get back to the technology, shall we?
Well,
so we're looking, what do we got? Oh,
so
I want to look at this one. Are you feeling dynamic?
Oh,
that
I'm
was
always
another bad
feeling
dad
dynamic.
joke. I got to get off this camera, Brett. You go ahead and handle this area. I got to leave for a couple minutes for that one.
That's a good one, Tony. So yeah, this is showing, because again, you've seen a lot of new technology here. Automation, a lot of software innovations, but we don't want to forget the core customers. So we're showing kind of what we would call our basic product offering. So this is for the small job shop, someone just getting into balancing. This would be a perfect machine for them. Here we're showing balancing a wheel pack for cutter grinders. For this shrink machine, we actually call it the basic. It's a very simple, inexpensive machine. It's got a simple air cooling connection here. But the cool thing is it gets people into shrink fit, even if they're working out of their garage. So it's not overly expensive. It's very cost affordable for people to get into shrink fit, and then it's modular, so you can grow as your company grows. And finally, right behind you, Tony, we've got our Uno Smart. Again, it's a very, let's say, entry-level machine, but with like everything, it's HAIMER quality, all made by HAIMER, all made in-house to the true HAIMER quality. We use the same components on this basic presetter as we would with more and more advanced. So that's something that we will never compromise, because as you know, quality wins.
Quality does win, and I know we're talking a lot. We're going to conclude in the tool room in just a second, but I want to take this moment based on an entry level coming with HAIMER quality almost doesn't feel entry level anymore. But for the audience watching, if you're in places of the world like Mexico, which I know we're in a lot, and you're thinking, I need to invest in quality, but where should I start? This is the answer. If you're a garage shop trying to make your machines last, trying to create that success for your future, this is maybe where you start, that affordable range. So I just wanted to get that out there. Now, if my camera crew could follow me around the corner, Brent, I've seen your tool room firsthand. For the people watching, if you want to watch the MTD video, we actually do a tool room tour in Germany at the headquarters, which is really interesting for me. And we've done the HQ in the US as well.
Absolutely.
So I know a little bit about this, but again, I never try to be the expert because my words never work out right, and I allow you to do that because you've been doing this for so long.
Oh, great. Thanks, Tony. And I think it's appropriate we're kind of ending the tour here in our tool room, because that's what we're about. We're about setting up the most consistent tool assembly each and every time. So that's, again, it's kind of ironic, but it's the appropriate place to end the tour, so to speak, because we're all about the tool room. Because what we're doing with our technology, from shrinking to presetting to balancing in the tool room, is giving the most consistent assembly of the tool each and every time. And what we're showing here that's kind of new, I know it looks like very familiar product and the hardware looks very familiar, but back to that tool room manager software, which again is tying each step here and directing the person setting up the tools through the process. And I think that's important because, again, it leads to what? Consistency each and every time. So that's what we're showing here, and it's all some new advances on the software on the machines itself have really helped contribute to our goal of giving the most consistent assembly each and every time out at the machine tool.
I'm glad we started with consistency. It looks like we're ending with consistency. I hope you and I were consistent enough for the audience watching. I'm going to conclude this whole thing with inviting Tom back onto the camera to say a couple of words. Brent, thank you so much for this. I do appreciate it. What a great tour.
You're welcome, Tony.
Tom, how did you like it? I've done this with Brent a few times, but how did you like it?
Now, honestly, I've never met Andreas before. I've spoke to him, but I've never met him. And he is incredible. His knowledge, he's not like your normal boss where he's like, them guys will do it. He knows everything about every product, and it is incredible. And his enthusiasm, he excites you by talking about it. And there's only one other person I know who can talk to you and make you excited, and that's this guy.
That's a great way to end. However, I'm gonna do one more based on that, and Brent could probably see it with me as well. That comes from the fact that he was running around in diapers on the HAIMER floor as his parents were trying to grow it. And then out of nowhere, this huge town is taken over by HAIMER, and in a positive way, where they're really just supporting the local area, this massive facility. Now it's grown into another one. He was growing into this whole thing. He grew with the company, didn't he?
Oh, he sure did. I mean, he was the first standalone HAIMER product, and he really has grown with it. So he knows it from the very beginning to where he is now. So, and his passion is contagious, and it is amazing how hard he works to make sure that we share this great product with the world.
I really like how he concluded that.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Should we drop our microphones?
Yeah.